Let's revise what we have seen in the last lecture. So we have started with the IoT challenges, right? Right, so these are some challenges that we have discussed in the detail, like security, interfacing, interoperability, then the problem related to the storage, so why we need to use the cloud, then which kind of cloud we need to use, then the challenges related to the power or energy efficiency, right? How we can make the device like low power, uh, then the data analytics, how the modeling analysis is play a role, important role in IoT, right? Then how like the complex environment, right? So whatever the environment in which you are developing the system, right? That is also one kind of a challenge to develop the IoT platform or IoT application, right? So this all we have discussed in the detail, right? The security, personal safety, privacy, how to get the data in the complex environment, right? Then we need like continuous connectivity between the devices, so for that we have different technology, right? That we also will discuss in the protocols, right? So these are the protocols, technology are the protocols, right? So that also we will discuss. Then the power requirements, so like how we can make the device like low power, or how we can use the renewable energy sources, right? So this is also a challenge, complexity involved in the to create the IoT network, or maybe you are using some latest technology like artificial intelligence or data analytics or big data or deep learning machine learning, then the system will become more complex, right? Right, then the storage, of the storage, right? We use the cloud, right? Then we will compare the wireless sensor network and IoT, right? So wireless sensor network is a network of sensors which generally will develop to just collect the data, right? And uh, while IoT, we can say like IoT network is collecting the data as well as it will do the process, it will do the analysis on that data, and according to that it will take some action, right? So we can say like whatever the wireless sensor network is doing, the same thing IoT can do, right? So all the functionality of the wireless sensor network are done by the IoT. So the wireless sensor network is a part of IoT, right? Then we have started the protocols. In the protocols, we have seen the different types of protocols. So based on the functionality, right, we can make category. We can say like it has different categories, right? So we have started from this the data protocol, which are most important, right? So in that protocol, we have started the the first one, that is we can say like data protocol, which is also known as the messaging protocols, right? So there are three main sub protocols are there: MQTT, CVP, and XMPP, right? So among these three, the first protocol MQTT we have started, right? uh, so for that protocol we have seen like it's a lightweight protocol, right? Lightweight means it does not need much resources to operate, right? So it's a kind of a lightweight protocol, and because of that, you can say its advantage, or because of that feature, MQTT is widely used. Right? So in MQTT, we have seen like we have three components: publisher, subscriber, and broker. Right? What is subscriber? What is broker? Publisher, that we have discussed, right? So function of the publisher is to just send the messages or collect the whatever the data is collected to send to the server. So that is a broker. So publisher is generally the sensor, then subscriber is the nodes which need the data, right? So subscriber has to subscribe particular data, and to subscribe particular data, the broker will give some topic name to the data, right? So topic is the kind of a string or kind of a like a simple word, right, which is given to different types of data, right? Right, so this is like how the communication will happen in this MQTT protocol. In the middle we have the broker, on the left side we have the publisher, and the right side we have the subscriber, right? So publisher will send the data to the broker, and broker will send the data to the subscriber, or you can call it as a client. Right, so here we have taken the example of a temperature sensor, right? Uh, then we have seen it is not like the broker is whatever the data broker have, broker will broadcast that data, right? Or we can say like it will send data to in the network, but only the subscriber which has subscribed the particular topic, right? Those only can get that particular data which is related to that topic name, right? Not all the subscriber will get that data, right? So whatever like in your network, like your 10 nodes and your 5 nodes need just temperature data, then they will subscribe only the topic name which is related to the temperature data, right? Some other node may need temperature as well as, for example, pressure data. Then they will subscribe both the temperature and the pressure data, right? So for that they will subscribe that topic name related to those two data. Right, so that we have seen. Then we have seen the example it is not always fixed. Like publishers only publish the data or send the data to broker, and the subscriber will only receive the data, right? Subscriber can be publisher and publisher can be subscriber, right? Yeah, that is. So for that we have taken one example of a car, right? Right? Car is sending the data of the GPS location to the broker, and broker will send the data to a computer or PC. So after taking that location data in the consideration, the PC will send the command to the car through the broker, right? Like in which direction the car has to move. So in this case, the first task when GPS location is sent to the broker, at that time the car is a publisher, and your PC or laptop will work as a subscriber because it needs the data to the broker. And the second task when your PC or laptop will send the command to the car, right? Like in which direction it has to move. Right? At that time, your PC or laptop is a publisher, and your car is a subscriber. Okay. We have seen, for example, this MQTT protocol, television. You have a dish at your home, right? You have to pay for particular channel, right, to watch. If you subscribe those channel, then and only then you can see it, right? So you can compare this MQTT with the television broadcast, right? So television broadcaster is sending the data related to all the channels. You are only you able to only visualize those channels for that you have to pay. You have paid, right? So right? Here like here it's channel, you can select its topic name in MQTT, right? Is secure MQTT. It's an extension or a version of MQTT for the, you can say, if you need more security. Then we have seen the application. So almost you can see like whatever the online platform which are providing the cloud or web services, right? Those all are using this MQTT as a protocol. Is COAP, it's a constrained application protocol, right? So this protocol is a wave transfer protocol, right? And this is used with the constrained node and the network, right? Uh, so constraint, again, constraint means with the less it's lesser thing. So you can use this protocol with the node and the network which have lesser resources, you can say, right? Or you can say like the node or network which are using for this protocol, right? You don't need that much of the resources. This specifically protocol is designed for the machine-to-machine communication application, right? So machine means in this protocol you can say like the number of devices, right, are in the limited number, right? So machine-to-machine means minimum 2 devices. So maybe you have 2, 3, or some 5, right? So that count is very less. So this specific protocol is designed for that. If in your network you have the less number of nodes, so you can select constrained nodes, less number of nodes, right? Then you can use this protocol. And such applications are like smart energy and the building automation, right? So in your house, in home automation and the building automation, you have to control only some limited number of appliances, right? Like in your room, maybe you have hardly some 5 to 10 appliances, right? Not more than that. So if you count the total number of appliances in your home, right? So in your all room, kitchen, everywhere, then it may be about some 15 to 20, not more than that. So for that, we use this kind of protocol in such application, right? This protocol is based on the request response model, right, between the end users. So if you compare with the MQTT, then MQTT is the kind of publish subscribe model, whereas model is the this protocol is a request response. So here generally this request response model is used by the client server model. Right? So wherever in your network you have a client, you have a server. Right? You have different clients, you have one server. So whenever some data is needed by some client, then client will send the request to the server, and server will, after receiving the request, it will send the response, right, in the form of the data. Right? So generally this request response model is in the client server model, right? It's using the client server model. So this protocol is also use the client server model, right? Wherever we will uh, use the request response model. Right? So whenever end user needs some data, it has to send the request to the server, and server will send the data as a request, right? And this interaction is a asynchronous over the datagram oriented transport protocol such as UDP, right? So this protocol is you can say like similar to UDP, or we can say like it is built on UDP, right? User datagram protocol that we have seen when we have discussed the OSI model and TCP/IP model, right? Uh, then this protocol is designed by the IETF group, right? So this IETF is Internet Engineer Task Force, right? So it's a community, or you can say like organization, right? So it's developed by or designed by that group, right? And it will work in the constrained environment, right? So where you have the limited resources. Is a one-to-one communication protocol. So one-to-one means machine to machine, right? Uh, it is also lightweight like MQTT protocol, right? So because of that, it uses less resources than HTTP, right? So hypertext uh, transfer protocol, right? So generally which we use in when we search, when we access, when we do the browsing on the website, right? At the time it is using this HTTP protocol. So that's why you can see like whenever you see URL of some website, right? You try to copy some website name. At that time, most of the time, there you will find like in the starting they have written HTTP 2 times slash, then semicolon, after that the website name, right? So this is only used in web, right? So this this CAP protocol is uses less resources compared to this HTTP, right? uh, this HTTP protocol which runs on the TCP, right? uh, and this QAP, right, it's run over the UDP, right? and it is a connectionless protocol. Uh, then this protocol is, we can say like, is a session layer protocol. If we look at oil side model, then we know like there is a layer called session layer, right? So this uh, protocol is work in the this session layer, right? Uh, and it is designed uh, by the constrained RESTful environment for working with, right? So that we discussed, and will provide the lightweight RESTful interface, right? So this is the RESTful, this is the REST. It's short form of the representation state transfer, right? So it's again a kind of architecture or kind of protocol. So in development of this CVP architecture or this protocol, right? They are using this REST, uh, we can say that kind of architecture or that kind of protocol, right? And the same this REST is used in the HTTP, right? HTTP protocol also, this REST protocol is used, right? So this REST is a standard interface between the HTTP client and the server, right? So in the HTTP or in the web, when we are using web, right? So at that time HTTP client and server, right? So between them, this REST will provide the interface, right? And this protocol, CVP protocol, such a lightweight protocol are used in the applications such as uh, the IoT application, uh, which which have the less resources, or we can say like which have the power constraint. Power constraints are like you need, or you have the lower power, right? Or like you are not able to charge the battery frequently. So such kind of application we are using this CVP protocol. So if this HTTP, right, or you can, if you directly use this HTTP kind of protocol in the IoT application, right, then it can be result in the significant overhead and the power consumption. It will use more power. Right? So that's why we are not directly use this HTTP, right, where we will do some modification in this REST full architecture, and then we will develop this CVP protocol. Uh, so we can say CVP is designed to enable low power sensor, right? And the low power sensor means a sensor which use less power, right? And we are using, say, like RESTful, this architecture, RESTful services, right? But with the low power constraint, right? So this REST approach, or this RESTful architecture, right? It ensures a secure, fault tolerant, and the scalable system. Right? So because of that, we use this approach of this architecture. Right? Then this protocol optimizes the length of the datagram. So the length of the datagram means the, it's kind of like in which form you are sending the data, right? So it's kind of data packet, right? So that length this will optimize, right? So it will only send the data, right, which is actually needed, right? So you can say like it's reduce the size of the data packet, right? Or we can say like in that protocol, whatever data we are sending, data packet, right, in that the amount of data is lesser. Amount of data lesser means not your information you are removing, right? But whatever architecture or whatever approach you are using, in that only you need less number of additional bits or additional data to send. Okay. This protocol is connectionless protocol and it's require retransmission support. Uh, So this protocol is built over UDP, right? That I have told, instead of TCP, right? So this HTTP is built on TCP, whereas this CUP is built on UDP, right? And it has a light mechanism to provide the reliability, right? Then this CUP architecture, if we talk about, then it is, this architecture is divided into main two layers or two sub layers, right? One layer is messaging layer and second layer is the request response layer, right? So the messaging sub layer, right, this layer is mainly responsible for reliable and the duplication of the message, right? So this messaging sub layer, the work of that is to just send the messages, right? If message is not properly received by the receiver, then again it will send the message, right? So that kind of work is done by this messaging sub layer. Then the request response sub layer, right, is responsible for the communication, right? So whenever you need to transfer the data, right, so directly send the before directly sending the data, first you will uh, establish a communication link, right? And that link is uh, created, right, by this request response sublayer, right? So what what will happen in this protocol, how the data is transferred in this protocol? First you will send the request, then on the other end the request is received. After that you send some acknowledgement, or in some cases directly send the data, right? So that way you can say like, first the communication link is created, and after that the data is transferring to this messaging sublayer, right? And in this protocol there are four type of messaging mode, right? So wherever you are transferring the data, that, that communication will happen in these three modes, right? So sorry, four modes, and those four modes are configurable, conformable, piggyback, and separate. So those four modes we will discuss in the detail. So as you discussed, this CVP architecture, it has two layers, right? And the two layers are messaging layer and the request response layer, right? So if we look at the application or IoT application which is using this protocol, then that overall stack will look like it has the four layers, right? The middle two are the request response layer and the message layer, right? And that is specifically for this, because of this protocol. And those two layers are placed between the application layer and the UDP, right? Because this layer is built over the UDP, right? So this message layer is designed to deal with the UDP and synchronous switching. The request response layer concerns the communication method, right, and deal with the request response messages. In request response layer, the client may use the get, put, delete, right? So these all are the kind of methods to transmit the message, right? Right. So this protocol position is between application and the UDP, right? The four message types, right? The communication, four type of communication you can say, right? Conformable, non-conformable, piggyback, and separate. Uh, so let's see all these four model or four communication modes, right? So you can see like in the first conformable message, you can see like you have two node or two devices, right? This is one-to-one communication. This is used for one-to-one communication. So here you have two devices, right? They are doing the communication one-to-one, and one you have to consider as a client, one you have to consider as a server, right? So whoever needs the data, it is a client, that is client, and the transmitter, right? It's generally server. So here first, in confirming message, what happens? First, you will send a request to the server for some data, right, or some service. You can select some command. So first you will send the request, and then some server will send back the acknowledgement, right, as a response. Okay. So uh, in that case, you can see like first you will send the request, and then it will send the acknowledgement. After that, data will transfer, right? Wherever in non-configurable message, like directly the client is sending something in the form of message, right, to the server, right? So here there is no mechanism of like acknowledgement. Directly the communication will happen, right? Then you can see like in piggyback, right? uh, Once client will send the request, right, then server will send acknowledgement. With that it is also sending the data, right? So data and acknowledgement both will uh, sent by the server, right, together. And if you see the separate message mode, then you can see like first client will send the request to the server. In the response, server will send the acknowledgement back to the client after some delay, right? So after some time the server will again send the data, right? And once client will receive the data, it will send the acknowledgement back to the server, right? So you can compare all the four, right? In last you can see like in piggyback, the data itself signed by the server along with the acknowledgement to the client, right? Whereas in the separate message mode, right, once request is sent, server will send the acknowledgement back as a response after the delay, some delays, after some wait, right? Server will send the data in the different frame, right? Or different packet. Here you can say like in piggyback, acknowledgement plus data means in single packet you have the acknowledgement as well as data, whereas in separate message mode you have different packet for acknowledgement and for the data. And also in the separate mode, once client will receive the data, it will send back the acknowledgement, right? So that way we can say like it will provide the secure communication. If you use a separate message mode, then definitely because of this wait phase, you may you will your system will take more time for communication, but the delivery of the message is sure, right? Because once client will not send the acknowledgement back to the server, it means server will know like data is not received by the client, so again it will send the data, right? So that way it will provide the surety for receiving of the data. Right, so that we discuss this configurable and non-configurable modes represent the reliable and the unreliable transmission, right? So confirmable means reliable, and non-confirmable means unreliable, right? Why unreliable? Unreliable because uh, server is not sending any response or any acknowledgement. So without knowing acknowledgement directly, the communication is happening, right? The piggyback use like direct communication where server sends its response directly after receiving the message, right, within the acknowledgement message. So that we will discuss on separate mode. Server response comes in a message separate from the acknowledgement, right? And it may take some times to be sent by the server, right? So it's somewhat time consuming. And then this we have seen, we have discussed like COAP utilizes get, push, put, delete, such kind of message request, right, which is similar to HTTP, right? And this request, it means this kind of message, and this message modes or this type of message is like get is used to retrieve the message information, then put message it's for creating, uh, then the push is for update, then delete is to delete something, right? So this kind of messages or message request is used by the COAP protocol, and that is similar to HTTP protocol. The protocol is XMPP. So XMPP stands for the Extensible Message and Presence Protocol, right? Uh, this communication, it is communication protocol, is mainly for message oriented middleware, and it's based on the XML, right? So XML is a kind of language, right? So real time exchange of the structured data, right? And this XML language, right, that is a extensible markup language, like for HTTP, right, hypertext transfer protocol, right, or to develop the web page, right, you one language called HTML, right, hypertext markup language, right, that is used similar way like to this for this to develop this protocol, right. You can use this XML, extensible markup language, right. Then the protocol is real-time exchange of structured data. So wherever you need such kind of application, right, you need to transmit a communication or to exchange real-time data. Then we can use this protocol, right? Uh, and here mark with this word structured data, right? So whenever you have the structured data means the data is in some proper manner, right? Like in some application you have different many types of data, right, and continuously all the data are coming to the server or some processor or some controller, right. So that is unstructured, but structure means all are coming in the proper manner, right? So you have some limited number of data to your network. The application are generating some specific type of data, right? Some one or two type of data. Then you can, whenever you receive the data, you can arrange or you can create the structure way, right? Then this protocol is an open standard protocol. So open standard protocol means open means anyone can use it, right? Like you do not need to pay any charge for that, right? So for example, if you develop some protocol and some other want to use that protocol, then they have to pay to you, right? That is generally called as a reality, sorry, royalty. Right? So if somebody is developing some protocol, some platform, some software, and if you want to use it, then you need to pay for it, right? That is called royalty. So this XMPP protocol is open standard, means you can use it, no need to pay a single rupee. Right? Again, as the COT protocol, right? This protocol XMPP, which use the client server architecture, right? So here also you have one server, you have a client, right? But the this protocol in this model, right? There is no central server. Right? So you can see like you can say like this model is a decentralized. So what is meaning of decentralized? So decentralized means, for example, in your network you have some uh, 50 nodes or 50 devices, right? Then it is not like it is fixed like this for this only is a server, right? According to your need, according to your requirement, you can make some node as a server, some node as a client, right? After some time, if you want to change the server, then you can change the server, right? So you can change from the first device to second device is server, and first device became the client. So no central server means any device can work as a server. Right? You can make any device as a server based on your requirement. Right? Uh, this protocol provides for the discovery of service, right? Residing locally or across a network, and availability information of those services. Right? So, then this protocol is well suited for the cloud computing. Right? So whenever you need your application to use cloud computing, right, then you can use this protocol. Uh, right? So generally cloud computing you need when you use some virtual machines, right? Virtual networks, you need firewalls, right? Then you have to use the cloud computing, and at the time you can use this protocol. Uh, Then this protocol is open. So open means to support machine to machine or peer to peer communication across a diverse set of the network. Right? So like also the open meaning like it is not needed like in particular this type of communication. So like for example, some protocol will work on Bluetooth only, some protocol will work on Wi-Fi only, right? So that is a constraint, or we can say like that is a limitation. But here this XMPP protocol open means you can use this protocol, right, in any type of network, right? Maybe machine to machine or peer to peer, or some other type, right? So this protocol design will messaging, chat, video, or voice call, right, or for the collaboration. So in such kind of application, chat application, video conferencing, or voice calls, right? Voice calls over internet. So that is called as a VoIP, right? Voice over internet. So that also we can use this protocol. It's developed by the examiner, right? That means right? So WhatsApp kind of application also we can use this protocol if you want to create WhatsApp kind of application, then you can use this protocol. So at the starting when this protocol XMPP was developed, right? At the time it was known as Jabber, right? JABBER, right? And after later, right? Later on it is known as the XMPP. In this protocol, if you see the name, right, the name is extensible presence protocol, right? So for this different word, right, you have like different meaning, right? So extensible, so it's considered extensible this protocol as it's designed to accept and accommodate any changes. That's why its name is extensible, right? So for particular name, that is some meaning, right? And that meaning or that feature this protocol has. The protocol is defined in the open standard and is extensible because of the open standard approach. So open standard means it can work with any kind of architecture or any kind of network, we can say. So that's why they use the name the extensible. Right? Then the messaging. So this protocol supports sending message to the receiver or recipients in real time. Right? So this products they will use this word in its name, messaging, right? Mainly its application generally for message exchange of the messages, and those messages also in the real time. So real time message, the application where you need to exchange the message in the real time, right? Generally we are using this protocol, so that's why they have included the word in its name. Then the presence, so it is helpful, this protocol is helpful to identify the status such as offline or online or busy, right? So it's kind of like particular node or device is present or not, right? So that kind of status that the protocol can identify, so that's why they include the name presence, right? It also helps in the understanding if the recipient is ready to receive the message or not, right? We have seen that mode whenever you are with it, right? In CVP, right? In that protocol, we have seen like request response, right? So that the similar way here also, like uh, once you will send the message, before that the recipient is ready to receive the message, that we can understand, right? We can find. So that's why they have included the presence name and the protocol name, right? And the protocol used for the standard, right? So the set of standard, so because of that we use protocol. Now then if we like highlights in the protocol, so these are the features we can say, like it's decentralization, so no central server, anyone can run their own XMPP server, right? Open standard, so no royalty or granted permissions are required to implement this specification, right? Security, so these protocols provide authentication right? Authentication, encryption, right? There is flexibility, so it's open standard, right? Supports the interoperability, right? You can work this protocol with the other kind of protocol also. Then this protocol, like in the we can talk about the messenger, the application of exchange the message, right? So such kind of messenger have the requirement of such kind of feature like sending receiving message, then to understand the presence absence status, right? Then the contact list, maintain the contact list, then mm, like the detail of the subscription, right? Then the blocking service, right? So all this kind of features generally messenger need, and this XMPP protocol have all these kind of features, right? Inbuilt. Then the architecture, so we will not go much detail in the architecture, but simply we can say like XMPP, in your network you have XMPP server. With that server, right, a node can do the communication, right? So those are known as a client, and here like communication is in the two-way, right, bi-directional. And you can see like more with single server you have multiple client can do the communication, right? Okay. Okay. Then in this XMPP also like different versions are there, right? We can say different types of XMPP protocols are there, right? Or we can say like depends on where you are using this technology or this protocol, right? Based on that, we can categorize this XMPP. So some technology are like core XMPP. So generally it's used like information about the core XMPP technology for XML streaming, right? So in this such kind of application, we are using core whatever XMPP we are using. That is known as a core XMPP technology. Then one version is Jingle XMPP, right? So this Jingle generally used in the applications such as you want to transfer the multimedia signals, right? So multimedia signal means like voice, right? The data is not only in the form of the bits, right? Or text. It may be voice, it may be video, or it may be some files, right? So when you are creating some application to transfer this kind of data, right? So at the time when you're using this XMPP, then it's a single XMPP technology, right? Then multi-user chat, so it's generally used for like for messenger kind of or chat kind of application, right? So that is flexible multi-party communication, right? Means more than one people can do the communication, right, simultaneously. Then one version is pub sub, so it's kind of subscribe and publish, right? So it's in this technology like it's alerts and notification for data syndication. So data syndication means whenever some changes will happen in the data, right? So instantly it will send some alert, some notification, right? So that is also one version. Then one version is a BOSH, so that is HTTP binding for XMPP, right? So in this version we are using this HTTP as well as the XMPP. And then the weakness or disadvantages we can say of this protocol is it does not support the QoS, quality of service, right? And then the text-based communication induces the higher network overhead, right? So here everything is transferred in the form of, you can say like uh, text, right? Or we can say like whenever we'll do the text-based communication or we'll transfer the text, right? This network will create the overload in the network, right? And in this protocol, whatever data we are transferring, right? So the data is transferring, before the transferring of the data, whatever the binary data we have, first we will encode the data in the form of the base64. Right? So this base64 is one kind of uh, numeric system, like whatever numeric system we are using, like 0 to 9, then 10, 11, 12 up to 19, then 20. So that is base 9. So base 9 means sorry, not base 9, base 10. Right? So 0 to 9 we have letter, and after reaching the 9, we will, what we will do, we will increment one digit which is prior to the 9. So 0 to 9, so before that we will consider as a 0. So 0 will increment by 1, right? So 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 3 up to will reach 1 9. So after 1 9, what we will do, we will increment the letter which is ahead to 9. So 1, so that we increment by 1, so 2, so 2, and then again we start from 0. So 2 0 to 1 to 2, right? So that is base 10 numerical system, right? Or number system. So that way here first we will convert binary data into the base 64 uh, type of number system, right? So that is also like you can select consume time, right? uh, for that you need to do some processing, right? So these are some disadvantages of this protocol. And the application, then you can say like it's used in the publish subscribe kind of systems. It will use in the signals for VoIP, right? So voice over internet. So like you are doing the WhatsApp call, or you can do the video calling on Facebook Messenger, right? So when you do only voice call on some application, right? So that is called voice over internet. Like you also do the communication in the PUBG, right? PUBG, in such kind of game you can do, like you can talk each other, right? You do not need any the network of some mobile network provider, right? You just need internet. So that is voice over internet. So in such kind of application, this protocol is used, right? When you want to transfer the video conferencing or video call, in that also you can use this protocol. You can use this protocol when you need, you want to develop some application for file transferring, right? Then in gaming also this protocol used, right? So like for example, you want to develop PUBG type of game, in that you want to use communication, chat, right? You can want to talk, then you can use this kind of protocol. And in the internet, specifically for IoT, right? IoT, you can use protocol in smart grid or some IoT application related to the social networking service. This is about the XMPP protocol. The next one is AMQP protocol. So AMQP stands for the Advanced Message Queuing Protocol, right? Again, this protocol is also open standard. It's open standard means you need to pay for that, do not need to take the permission for anyone, right? And this protocol is for passing the business messages, right, between application or between the organizers. uh, then this protocol is a binary application layer protocol, right? And in this protocol, whatever data is transferring, the data is transferring in the form of frame, right? Or whatever the data packet we are transferring, that unit of the data is known as a frame. And this protocol is ISO standard protocol, right? And that standard number is ISO IEC 19462. Some feature of this protocol is security, reliability, interoperability, routing, queuing, open standard. Right? So open standard, we know security definitely is needed, right? Because of security, like, this you can use in IoT kind of application, right? Wherever you need to connect your device with the internet. So definitely the protocol should have the priority, right? Then the reliability, so reliability means in the form of like once you transfer the message or send the message, receiver receive the message or not, right? So you are able to know that, and according to that, if you need to transfer again the message, then you can again send the message. So that kind of feature also this protocol is provided. Then interoperability means one of your network is working on some kind of network and the other one is working on some different kind of network, right? And different kind of architecture. Then also this protocol is able to do the handshaking, right? Then the routing, so to find the best way to transfer the data, right? So that kind of features also this protocol have, right? So these are the some protocol, right? Also some features which is available in this protocol, right? So same features like targeted QoS, right? Selectively offering QoS to the links. So QoS is the quality of service. Right? So this the previous protocol XMPP don't have this facility or feature, right? QoS quality of service, but this protocol AMQP is providing the quality of service, right? Then the persistence, so it's the same as like reliability, right? So message delivery is guaranteed. Message is delivered, that is guaranteed. Right? Then delivery of message to multiple consumers. Right? So here like broadcasting kind of features or broadcasting kind of task you can able to perform, right, using this protocol. So then the possibility of ensuring multiple consumer and possibility of preventing multiple consumers, right? Sorry, consumption. So like you have the facility like you can allow multiple receiver or multiple like client, right? Or you can also prevent or you can make the limited client, right? And this protocol is high speed, so data can be transferred. Like the speed of the transferring data is high. Right? In this protocol, like MQTT, right? MQTT also have three components. This also have three components, right? In that three components are publisher, subscriber, and the broker. Here the three components are exchange, queue, and bindings, right? So exchange is kind of like broker, a part of broker, right? So this exchange, they will receive the message, route them to the queue, right? So the function of this exchange is the or exchanger is to receive the message from the like the sensors or the nodes, and they will route them in a queue, right? Then the queue, so queue, the separate queues for separate business process, right? So this queue is created for different business processes, right? And according to that type, right? Whatever the data received by the exchange, they will route those message or the data to these separate queues, right? And the queue, the function of this queue is to consume the received message from the queues, right? Uh, then the bindings, so these bindings are the rules for the distributing messages, right? So rules for distributing message means who can access the message, or who can access what kind of message, right? Then the destination, right? So what is the destination? So all that kind of rule, right? So that is defined or decided by these bindings. The application, if we talk about the application, then this protocol is used in the applications like wherever you need to monitor some data or you need like to share the update, right? So in that you can use it. You can connect the different system and the process to talk with each other, right? So like um, you can connect the system and the process like simultaneously you want to do the process, right? So you can connect to multiple system, right, using this protocol. So your process can talk with each other, so they can simultaneously work, like for example in two different process, like you have some stages and in one process after completion of first stage, right, before starting the second stage you have to perform the first stage of the second process. Then that communication between these two process, right, you can do that communication using this protocol, right? So you can call like process that talking with each other, right? Then the distributing message to multiple recipients for the consumption, right? So it's kind of broadcasting, then allowing server to respond to immediate requests quickly and delegate time consuming tasks for the later person. So here in using this protocol, like it's because it has a feature of high speed, right? So you can quickly send the request, respond to the request, right? Also, like if your task is time consuming, then you can delegate the time consuming task for the later processing. So you can do like that kind of feature, or you can say like if some of your tasks or some of your processes are like taking more time, right? So you can like save, or you can say like you can make like it will work later on, right? So in such kind of application, you can also use this protocol. Then the enabling offline client to fetch data at a later time. So here you have the feature, or you can like some of your client are offline, right? Are not connected in the network. Then you can enable, or you can make them able to fetch data at later time, like whenever they will come in the network, or they will be online. Uh, and this protocol introducing the fully asynchronous functionality for the system, and it will increase the reliability and uptime of the application development. So this increase in reliability is kind of, you can say like feature, right? Of this protocol. Right? So these are some applications of this. We will finish. We will stop here. Right? The next lecture we will see some more protocols. Right? Anybody have any question?